Wanna exchange numbers, mamacita? Greetings, my fellow foxes. It's Fox Coop via the Foxtron presenting to you today WWE Draft 2012. Now, WrestleMania's just finished, and the whole new season of WWE started, and this is usually when superstars actually get released, future endeavored, as John Laurinaitis would say, and now. Usually after Extreme Rules, that's usually a pay-per-view where you get the rematches from WrestleMania, and then after Extreme Rules you have the draft, and then this is when brands are built and brands are broken. Well, to be fair, I always used to consider SmackDown better, but now it seems like Raw's always getting the upper hand. But maybe this year a certain amount of superstars could help help build up SmackDown, because I feel that's been lacking. So, I feel there's 10 wrestlers that are definitely going to switch roles this year, and I would like to go for, my first number 10. I think Alberto Del Rio will go to SmackDown. Now, I feel that, his title reign, he's the whole tenure on Raw, it was kind of a fail, really. I mean, even though he had a great TLC match with The Miz and CM Punk and that, I just felt his character went stale, it did. And I felt Ricardo Rodriguez stood out more than Alberto Del Rio. And obviously SmackDown is where he rose as a star initially. And he had a rivalry with Rey Mysterio. And, I think that's where he should go back to, build up his character again. And also he could feud against Sheamus, which they're kind of foreshadowing that, to be fair. For the World Heavyweight Championships. That'll be a nice feud, a refreshing feud. And obviously, they're pushing the young talent up. Number 9, Dolph Ziggler to SmackDown. I've always seen him as a SmackDown kind of guy because he got pushed on SmackDown. He had a great, kind of short-term feud with Edge. He won the World Heavyweight Championship, even though it was not really a proper way of winning it. But then when he went to Raw, it's like, when these superstars that get built up on SmackDown go to Raw, they just go down in a way, because they win like a World Heavyweight Championship, but then that's kind of considered like it just doesn't feel the same as the WWE Championship, because, he never won the WWE Championship on Raw. He got close, but then as soon as he had a main event match with CM Punk for the WWE Championship, Royal Rumble, he ended up being in that mixed up kind of tag team match where, it's not like he didn't have a personal match. Number 8, I think R-Truth could go to SmackDown. I mean, they could have some, some baby faces there. They could, and you never know. They could turn him heel. He could betray Kofi Kingston. That's happened before. Mark Henry turned heel, and then he went to SmackDown. I remember when The Miz, attacked John Morrison when he went to Raw. They could do this, and John Morrison ended up turning face, I think, and went to SmackDown. Number 7 could be Wade Barrett to Raw. Now, I believe this could happen because he's always been kind of a Raw guy as well, because he was that's where the whole Nexus kind of thing started. He already had great matches with John Cena. He felt like a main event player. SmackDown, he feels more like a powerful guy. If you're gonna have a stable, you feel like a stable will be strong on Raw, and he kind of feels like the Barrett barrage kind of feels more bigger enough to have it there. Because on SmackDown, I don't want to say it, but he kind of feels like a big fish in a small pond. Now, obviously, I'm not trying to say that he's bigger than some superstars on SmackDown, but such as Sheamus. But it feels like this is definitely where his career got a little bit launched, especially with the Nexus angle, and he's a top talent. And number 6, now this is Rey Mysterio to SmackDown, and Rey Mysterio has always been a SmackDown guy. I loved Rey Mysterio on SmackDown. He provides that excitement, the wrestling style, considering it's good for pushing up talent, and people, like from FCW, probably going to get called to the roster, and they could have matches with Rey Mysterio. That would be excellent, because, I think, with Raw as well, it's a bit more pressure, and I think since the whole injuries and, that Rey Mysterio's had, and I feel, SmackDown's just a bit more of maybe a relaxing kind of place for him to go. And he could achieve more success there as much as he did on Raw. Maybe I think he has a better chance of being in the main event pictures. To be fair, so hopefully we'll see about that. And number 5, I think Sheamus could go to Raw, because they've done this before and they switched the championships. Because again, he kind of became big on Raw, and he's been good on SmackDown, but I mean, I feel this is unlikely because this could, because on SmackDown, he was getting built up, but he's actually won the World Heavyweight Championship now. So let's see what he can do on SmackDown. But you never know, he might go back to Raw. I mean, he's already got his old reputation back now in terms of the big main event player that he was when he was winning the WWE Championships twice on Raw. Now him coming back to SmackDown, him coming back to Raw isn't a bad thing. And number 4, CM Punk to SmackDown. Now I would love this to happen because at the end of the day, it's weird because I don't know. I would say CM Punk's a more of a Raw person now, especially with the whole the anti kind of gimmick, the rebel gimmick that he's kind of built up from ever since he cut that excellent promo last summer. But they need a top babyface, they do, and that could be CM Punk. Now Randy Orton, they had that, but I'm gonna move on and basically say that I just want to say that I hope CM Punk comes to SmackDown because now, even the Miz could come to SmackDown. He could be a good heel. They've been thinking about turning him face apparently, but it's definitely a place for him to rebuild up. Ever since he botched, he kind of went down. Even though he won the match for John Laurinaitis at WrestleMania, it's definitely a way to get him back. And he hasn't been on Raw SmackDown for a while, so it would be a good thing. Christian to Raw, that would be good because at the end of the day, I feel Christian is building up as a heel, and Raw Raw will be desperate for heels. Considering if Alberto Del Rio was to go to SmackDown, you can bring Christian into Raw, and it's definitely a way to push him up. I think he deserves it since for the great matches he had with Randy Orton, and he's already won the World Heavyweight Championship. He might as well aim for the WWE Championship. Now, I would love to see the WWE Championship strap on Christian. That would be really good. And finally, this kind of links to CM Punk. We need Randy Orton on Raw. Now, we obviously know John Cena's going to stay on Raw, but the thing is, he could either be a babyface, but it just doesn't feel right to have Randy Orton and John Cena being both babyfaces on the same brand. I mean, last year, when they kind of swerved us bringing John Cena to SmackDown and then him going back, I was wondering, John Cena and Randy on the same brand, whoa, what would happen to Raw? But I feel CM Punk's big enough to handle SmackDown and John Cena's big enough to handle Raw. I mean, unless they were planning to turn John Cena heel, then it makes more sense to keep Randy on face. But if John Cena's going to be the same old, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be that, I'm not going to be that, I'm going to be the good guy, oh my children, if he's going to be like that, then Randy Orton should turn heel because I loved it when Randy Orton was heel. I think Randy Orton's better as a heel. Randy Orton's one of those guys that can kind of come off as a heel when he's a face, but I still think a little bit. I just think it's a bit soured down. I think his promos in particular are soured down, and I think as a heel, he gets that real big aggression, that ruthless aggression into his promos. He has much more passion, and he just doesn't feel stout because these promos are just like, just gonna get a little Diet Coke. My name is Randy Orton. Well, we know your name's Randy Orton. You've been around WWE since 2002. So, it just feels like he doesn't know what to say now. As a heel, he can build so much more passion. He can get a lot of hate on the crowd. I mean, I remember some of this remarkable stuff he said before. I don't want to mention it, but especially, when they were abusing Eddie Guerrero's, death and how he said, I hope Eddie goes to, all of that stuff. And obviously, Eddie Guerrero's my favorite wrestler of all time. So obviously, when I was a little kid, I was despising Randy Orton. Obviously, I understand the wrestling business now, even though I still think that was a marketable move just to make money out of a death, and it's kind of bad, really. But at the end of the day, what happens happens. So that's how I think the draft should go, and I always look forward to the draft. It's always an excellent occasion. The whole format of them doing the matches, wearing the t-shirts, having the battle royal, and then for there, which superstars get who, and heck, maybe the commentators might change. You never know. Michael Cole, well, he's on both brands. You never know. Booker T coming to Raw, Jerry Lawler coming to SmackDown. I mean, Jerry Lawler and SmackDown, that would be pretty good. Maybe Jim Ross might come back. You never know. But I think it'll be a great draft, and hopefully SmackDown can get back in there because SmackDown, obviously, SmackDown have always been the brand that I've always thought was better than Raw, and I feel SmackDown lacked a little bit last year, especially with Edge as well going. I mean, in the beginning, the whole Christian and Randy Orton thing was going good, and but Daniel Bryan could be going. Daniel Bryan could go to Raw maybe. If CM Punk's on there, maybe they can kick off the feud that they had and end up assimilating to a match at WrestleMania, which would be really good because they did have matches and they didn't really get a winner out of it, so they could finish up that. But yeah. So this is Fox Scoop via the Foxtron, and I'm over. Sorry, I really don't know how I'm doing that. Maybe I just got a bad neck. And I'm over. And out.